Script: The Village Girl and the Minchin Daindilam Minsk. In a small mountain village in the north, where red dirt roads wind along the hillsides, where the morning breeze drifts from the old forest, carrying with it the sound of roosters crowing and birds singing, life flows in a simple, humble way. The people live close to their cornfields and rice terraces, working tirelessly from dawn till dusk. And in this little village lived a girl named Lan. Lan was the youngest child in a poor family. Her parents farmed all year round, yet barely earned enough to live on. Since childhood, Lan had been used to worn-out sandals and patched-up clothes. Every day she walked nearly 7 kilometers through steep slopes and muddy trails just to reach school. On rainy days, the road became slippery. She would often fall, her clothes covered in mud, yet she never gave up. Despite the hardships, Lan carried a simple dream in her heart: to own a motorbike. Not just any motorbike, but a 1995 Minsk. To her, the Minsk was more than a vehicle. It was a symbol of strength. As a little girl, she would watch soldiers or hunters riding past the village on their Minsk bikes, the deep rumble of the engine echoing through the valley. To Lan, it looked like a steel horse that could take people anywhere. The other kids laughed, saying, "A Minsk? That's a man's bike. Too heavy for a girl." But Lan only smiled, keeping her dream alive. At 16, she began working part-time to save money. Sometimes she helped at the market, sometimes she harvested crops for hire, and sometimes she collected forest vegetables to sell. Every coin she earned went into an old wooden box she hid in her room. Each night, after finishing her homework, she would quietly open the box and count the money by the dim oil lamp. Those small coins carried the weight of her big dream. One morning, while helping her mother dry corn, a neighbor came by and said, "Lan, down in the town, old Mr. Hahn is selling a Minsk 1995 model. It's worn out, but the engine still runs. If you're interested, you should go take a look." Lan's heart raced. This was the chance she had been waiting for. Without hesitation, she gathered her savings, asked her parents for permission, and took a bus to town. There it was, leaning in the corner of Mr. Hohn's yard. The Minsk looked old, peeling paint, torn seat, rusty exhaust, mud-caked wheels. But in Lan's eyes, it still stood tall, proud, and powerful. Mr. Hohn looked at her and chuckled. "A girl wants a Minsk? Even men struggle to ride this beast." Lan replied firmly, "I know it's heavy, but the Minsk is my dream. I believe I can learn to handle it." Impressed by her determination, Mr. Hohn lowered the price, wishing her luck. Lan took the keys in trembling hands. She hadn't bought a shiny new scooter, but to her, this worn-out Minsk was treasure. Taking it home, she began a new journey, restoring her steel horse. On the first day, she spent hours just cleaning it. Grease smeared her hands, rust clung to the frame, the wheels wobbled. Yet she worked tirelessly, smiling through the mess. Her childhood friend Tuan, who knew a bit about mechanics, came to help. He teased, "A Minsk? Are you sure, Lan? It's heavy and stubborn. You might give up." Lan answered simply, "If I gave up easily, how could I ever dream?" Together, they dismantled the parts, cleaning the carburetor, replacing the spark plug, oiling the gears, sanding off the rust. Lan even bought paint and carefully sprayed the frame herself. Late at night, under the flickering oil lamp, she scrubbed every detail. Some villagers who passed by laughed. "A girl repairing a Minsk? She'll quit soon enough." But Lan ignored them. To her, the Minsk was not just a bike. It was her childhood dream, her willpower, her proof of perseverance. Weeks later, the transformation was complete. The Minsk stood renewed, its frame gleaming with fresh paint, the seat reupholstered, the engine thumping more steadily, still smoky but alive and powerful. Lan gazed at it with pride, her heart swelling. The day of the first ride arrived. She wheeled the bike to an open field at the edge of the village. Her hands trembled, her chest tightened with nervous excitement. Taking a deep breath, she kicked the starter. Bum! Bum! The deep roar of the engine echoed across the hills. Villagers turned their heads, curious. At first, the bike crawled forward, unsteady. Lan wobbled, her feet brushing the ground. But after a few laps, she found her balance. Soon, the Minsk roared ahead, dust flying behind, wind whipping her face, her hair streaming wildly. But her eyes shone with determination. At that moment, Lan burst into laughter, a bright, triumphant laugh that rang across the valley. "I did it!" The villagers clapped, some shook their heads in disbelief. A young girl, once thought too fragile, had tamed the beast of the mountains. As the sun set, Lan stopped at the top of a hill. Below her stretched the golden valley, bathed in twilight. She placed her hand gently on the handlebar and whispered, "This isn't just a motorbike. It's proof of my dream, my strength, my belief." Tears welled in her eyes. Tears not of struggle, but of joy. From now on, she would no longer trudge wearily on foot over steep trails. From now on, she could study, work, and travel farther than she had ever imagined. The 1995 Minsk would not just carry her to school, it would carry her closer to her future, to the wider world beyond her little village. And so, in the vast mountains, a young girl and her old Minsk began a new journey together. A journey of determination, hope, and the unshakable truth that as long as you never give up, every dream can come true. Strict in English. Thank you so much for staying with me until the very last moments of today's video. If the story of the young village girl and her 1995 Minsk touched you, in its perseverance, in the way she turned a pile of rusty metal into a proud steel horse, please give this video a like right now. Your small click means the world to me. It helps this story reach more people, and it gives me huge motivation to keep creating meaningful content like this. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit the little bell icon so you won't miss any of my upcoming videos. I'll be posting regularly about journeys of resilience, restoring old motorbikes, maintenance and customization tips, and simple yet heartwarming stories of everyday life. I'd really love to hear from you. Leave a comment down below. What part of today's story stayed with you the most? Have you ever owned or dreamed of owning a legendary bike like a Minsk, a Simpson, a Honda Dream, or a Cub? For the next video, would you like me to dive into the restoration process in detail? Costs, parts, common issues, or focus on riding skills for rough mountain trails and dirt roads? If you found this video meaningful, please share it with friends or family who love classic bikes or inspiring stories. Who knows? Maybe this little story could spark someone's own journey. All the links I mentioned, community group, fan page, Instagram, TikTok, playlist on old bikes, and extra resources are waiting for you in the description box below. And if you'd like to support me further, you can check out the Buy Me a Coffee or support link there as well. Your support helps me film, edit, and bring more heartfelt stories to life. Sneak peek for the next video. I'll be following Lan as she gets used to her steel horse, the Minsk. How she checks the spark plug, adjusts the idle, and cleans the carburetor at home. A list of parts you must replace before any long trip, plus a real cost breakdown. Quick fixes for when the bike stalls on a steep hill or floods on the trail. And of course, a brand new test ride through a mountain pass in the rainy season. Lots of surprises ahead. So if you're interested, hit subscribe now and YouTube will notify you the moment it's live. Once again, thank you so much for watching and staying with me till the very end. I'm your name, and I'll see you in the next video, where we'll keep telling small but meaningful stories and ride just a little bit further down the road we love. See you soon.